Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a batch file that brute forces a login on another computer and how to defend yourself against it. Just a disclaimer that this video is for educational purposes only, and you should not be using the things in this video on someone else without their permission. So anyway, let's get into it. So back in my skid days, aside from using Grabify on a daily basis, something that I loved doing was making batch files. Now I would make menus where it's like, oh, which program do you want to open? It would have all my tools on there. I would make prank viruses. I would make all sorts of stuff. But anyway, one batch file, one tool that specifically stuck with me that I've been wanting to make a video about for quite a while now is the SMB brute forcer. Now you don't need to install Visual Studio, you don't need anything for this, right? All you need is Notepad and you can literally make a brute forcer with batch. Now when it comes to batch file tools, this is like the coolest but simplest one, and I did come up with this one on my own. It just came to me, but someone probably, okay, whatever, I'm not going to take the credit for this. But yeah, don't be using this as a malicious tool. It's a good exercise for when you're learning cybersecurity, when you're starting out. It teaches you about the SMB protocol, the attacks, how to defend yourself against it. Very educational. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay, so on your computer, you want to load up any text editor. I'm going to be using Notepad++ because, What? So if you're on Notepad++ like me, head over to language, B, and then batch. And this is just going to highlight batch syntax. All right, so if you didn't know, you should probably know this if you watch my channel, but you start every single batch file with @echo off. Because if you open up command prompt, you see the Microsoft Windows, the prompt, and you don't want to be seeing this while you're executing. So it just gets rid of the prompt so it's not in the way. All right, so we need three things while making this brute forcer. We need the IP address, so which host we're going to be connecting to. We need the username, so which usernames to run the attack on. And number three, we need the word list, which is going to have the list of the passwords that we're going to cycle through. Okay, so this is the variable name. You can call this whatever you want. And here's the prompt that we're going to show. So we're going to say enter their IP address, and then whatever inputted here is going to be saved in IP address. So wait, let's just test this out. I'm going to go echo IP. Here we go. Now let's run it. Enter IP address. Okay, here, so we know that whatever we put in here gets saved. We know that everything's working fine. Let's keep going. So just copy this twice, and for the next one, do user or whatever username. And over here, we're going to input the username. And last one is going to be word list. Enter password list. All right, so I have my password list right here, passlist.txt. And it just has a bunch of, passwords in it. And what we want our program to do is to loop through each one. So it's going to attempt this, then this, then this, then this, then this. So in batch, that's going to look like 4-F, A, and our variable name is word list. So in word list, we're going to do, for now, let's just make sure that it works. So echo A. So what this should do is just line by line show us all the passwords that are here to make sure that it's working. So Control S to save, it should be blue, and then enter password list. And yep, that looped through all the passwords, did it pretty quick. So we know that this is working. Okay, so now we're actually gonna have to do the logins. So let me give you a quick lesson on how SMB works. So in command prompt, if we wanted to connect to another computer with SMB, we'd have to go net use / and then the IP. So this could be, whatever we want. I'm just gonna do myself. To specify the username, you wanna go -user and you type in the username, and then whatever you type after username is going to be specified as the password. So if I go 1234, we're basically going to be logging into this IP with this username that's authenticated with this password. Username or password is incorrect. And if we had the correct username and password, it would let us in. So let's copy this command right here. So that whole net use thing, we're not going to do in this loop. We're actually going to make we're going to create a function to call it in. So right here, attempt, this is going to be each attempt. And we're going to set the variable pass, or you can set it as attempt. Pass equals %A. It's going to call attempt. So over here, I'm going to paste the command. And for the IP, we're just going to go %IP%. For the user, same thing. And for the password, we set it as pass. But now how do we check if we're actually logged in or not? Because we can just have the attempts going and it could log us in and it could keep going. We don't know, right? So how we do know is by the error level environmental variable. So let me show you how that works now. We're going to open up command prompt again. Okay, so what an environmental variable is a variable that's just predefined on your computer. There are many examples like comspec. This is the location of your command prompt. So C Windows System 32. Now I didn't define this variable. This is just an environmental variable that just pre-exists. So now there's a variable called error level. And this is very useful for what we're trying to do, because it basically gives us the error code of the program when it exits. So when netuse exits, when, you know, finishes executing, it basically exits and it leaves us the code. So if something went wrong, if the login was wrong, if the connection wasn't there, if, you know, some other error was happening, it would return something that's not 0. And that's how we know that something went wrong. So if we echo error level now, it's 0 because, you know, there were no errors. Now let's try going netuse, connect to myself again. This isn't a user on my system. Username or password incorrect. We'll go back to echo error level, and now we see that it's 2, and we can check this in the batch file. Now if we connect successfully, so then the error level should be 0. So it's going to try the attempt, and if error level is equal to 2, actually wait, if error level is equal to 0, so if it went successfully, we're gonna go to success, which is a function that we're gonna make in a sec. And now if it isn't, we're just gonna type, then we're going to echo the attempt. We're gonna say that this, actually, we should do the attempt before. We should be, yeah, echo attempt, yeah, display the attempt. Okay, so now the success function, I don't even know if these are called functions, so don't flame me in the comments, but that's what I call them, so whatever. So when we're successfully logged in, we of course want to, you know, let the user know. We're going to go echo password found. Wait, let me make this capital, you know, let me make this look good. Password found, and here we can just echo pass. We're going to pause, which is going to give it a, you know, press any key to enter, and then exit, which is going to exit the program. Okay, let's look over the code. Echo off, gets the IP, gets the username, gets the password, starts looping and calls attempt each time, goes for the attempt, displays it. If error level is 0, go to success. So if the login was successful, go to success. If not, it's just going to keep going. But if it does, it's going to say password found, pause, exit. But let's say hypothetically the password isn't found, right? So after the for loop, we're just going to say echo password not found, give them a little sad face, then pause, exit. Okay, so let's see how this runs. We're going to run tool.bat and enter password list, passlist.txt. Oh, whoa. A few things are wrong here. Number one, multiple connections to a server by the same resource are not allowed. Okay, so I'm already connected to myself. That's why it's giving us this error. And how we get rid of this is that we have to disconnect from ourselves. And that command is putting in the IP -d-y, and then it's gonna, you know, get rid of it. So we need to add that after the success message, so people disconnect after, so they don't get that issue. So we're just gonna put an IP here. Oh, what the f. So we're just gonna put in IP here. And another problem is that it's displaying this in the first place. We don't want, you know, the output to be shown to the user. Like, this looks messy. So what we would usually do, this doesn't fully hide the output because it doesn't hide the error. So we're gonna have to add a 2 and 1. Now it's not gonna show this output, and we should also use it here. Okay, so let's try it again. Here's my password list. Boom. Password found, password. So it works. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's good. Now let's clean this up a little. I'm gonna just make a couple of changes to make it look better. Alright, so let me show you the final product. We got tool.bat. We got, SMB brute force by Ebola, man. You know, just like the old days, I would always add this to the title. Enter IP address, username, password, and boom, that was quick. So yeah, I changed the title, changed the color, added in attempting, so, you know, you can see how many attempts went by. And I'll put this code on my GitHub, so, you know, if you want to skid me, then you can. Our password is only 9 passwords deep. Let's try putting it like deeper. Okay, this is the password. Let's move down like quite a bit. Yeah, this has to be like at least a few hundred. And let's see how fast it, you know, does this. Ooh, damn. Yeah, that's pretty quick. Oh, it's already at 100. Already at 200. Okay, damn, this is password found. Yeah. So we have like 0 ping since we're testing this out on ourselves. That's another reason why it's going by this fast. So let me actually test this out on my brother's laptop, see how well it works. Okay, so I just convinced my brother to change the administrator password. And I'm gonna, you know, try this out on him now with his permission, of course. You should only be doing this with other people's permission, as you know. Educational purposes only. Now this is his IP. Username is also administrator. We're gonna be using the same password list. We see it's a little slower, but still going good. By the way, let me know what you think about the new webcam. You know, kind of feel like Kai's not now. It's wide angle. Wait, hold up, let me switch it real quick. Yeah, like I feel like a streamer when it's like this, you know? You can just see my whole room. Could have people in here. On the second channel, I'm probably gonna put up like maybe like an Omegle video. You know, those look pretty fun. All right, there we go. So attempt 949, we got the password. So my brother's laptop is in the other room, you know, through a couple of walls, and it took around like how much, 30 seconds to go through 1,000 attempts, which is actually pretty quick. You can make it even quicker by like modifying the code and you know, make it look better and stuff. This is like, I literally just pieced this together in a few minutes. To defend yourself against this, you want to make sure, unless you need it, that you have SMB disabled, that you don't have network shares open so people, you know, can run brute force attacks. Also use complicated passwords so that there's basically no chance that they show up in any of these password lists. So your account has a very low chance of getting cracked. And there's also a setting in Windows where you can limit the number of login attempts in an hour or for a certain time to prevent the brute forcing in the first place. So after, you know, a few attempts, it gets blocked and they cannot brute force it anymore. So yeah, that's how you prevent this to stay safe and help others do that too. Anyway, the code will be in my GitHub if you want to modify it or just skid it. Let me know what you thought about this video, and if you want like more you know, coding tools, follow along, this type of stuff, definitely let me know in the comments because I like making these. Like and sub to my channel if you enjoy the videos, and I'll see you next time.